So you guys know, our scale goes 0 to 24, okay? 24 being the most optimal use of mechanical efficiency in health, okay, as related to our statistics. 0 to 24, the average score here among, I think it was like 44 guys, is 13. Does anybody know what the average DVS score of a professional pitcher in the big leagues is right now? Anybody know? Take a guess. 14? 12? Pretty close. It's 13.2. Okay, 13.2. All right. Over the last 15 years, have injuries gone up or down? Up. Okay. Has velocity gone up or down? Okay. How many of you think that it's purely related to just guys throw harder? Okay. It's a combo. It's for sure a combo. Okay. Now, here's one thing that we found that's extremely, extremely significant. Okay. January rolled around of this year. I took 3 months. Okay. Roughly 10 hours a day. Okay. And I scored every pitcher that pitched in 2012. It was like 900, almost 1,000 pitchers. Okay. And so every pitcher in 2012. So I would say that's a pretty good modern sample, wouldn't you? Fairly recent guys, average birthdays like 83 to 86 or something like that, okay? Now, what we found is this average professional pitcher is still 13, okay? But the injury rate, and this is for everybody, 0 to 24, the injury rate for those pitchers almost doubled in terms of time to injury. Okay, do we have those numbers up? All right, so here's our kind of categories, okay? 0 to 8, 21 to 24, okay? Let's just focus on the starters, okay? 0 to 8, average time to injury is 651 innings. This includes your college innings, all right? So you're getting into the league, you're roughly in the league 2.5 years, you're going down with a major injury, okay? Now, even for the guys that are 21 to 24, it's 1,400 innings. Okay, now these are just of guys who have actually been injured, not the guys who are still doing it. Okay, but what does this number mean in difference to this one? What kind of value could be placed on that? Anybody have an idea of what I'm talking about? Okay, longevity. What else? What else comes with playing in the big leagues? Money. None of you guys here are for money right now. You're not making none. Okay? But you know what? What did the Kershaw, the Verlanders, and the Felix Hernandez have in common? Man, they pitched 7, 8, 9 years, haven't had that injury, and they're making some serious bank. Okay? Anybody know Mark Buehrle? Everybody should know Mark Buehrle. Okay? Why do I bring up Mark Buehrle? Well, he doesn't throw gas. That's right. Oh, when he came up, he's 23, he's, 89, 94. Most of his career he pitched 85, 88. Okay? How much money do you think he made his last 3 years? $22 million a year. It's pretty good for a guy who throws 85, 86 from the left side. Okay? But what he did is he had this one for sure, and this one, and had a 17 DVS score. He surpassed this number without injury. And so what happened was the team's like, he's going to be my anywhere from 2 to 4 guy. He's going to eat up 200 innings a year. He's going to win me 14 ball games. Here's $20 million. It's a pretty good career, okay? But see, most of you, I legitimately think when you go look in the mirror, you're not like, ooh, I want to be Mark Buehrle. You might want to say, I want to be Noah Syndergaard. Maybe that's who you want to be, or, a late inning bullpen guy, okay? But all you can control is what we go back to, what you can do physically, how consistently can you do it. Your evaluators who are affiliated baseball, they're going to make the decisions about how you do. But as long as you're available to do it and you're consistent and you're putting up numbers, you're putting yourself in a great position. Okay? Everybody good? Yeah.
So guys, if you take these categories and you look at it, let's say like pre-1975, post-1975, like the guy back in the day with this score is going to get a lot more innings than that. Anybody know why? Don't even worry about velocity, like the velocity piece, okay? Why do you think somebody back in the day with the exact same score gets a lot more out of their body and their arm compared to now? Anybody idea? Okay.
Weight training, that's a good one.
That's a piece of it, man. The culture, right? So everything that is done nowadays in excess, it's that much more wear and tear on your arm. So these guys back in the day, like, they didn't throw as hard, but that's not why they didn't get hurt. I mean, their focus wasn't velocity, but genetically, like to Nelson's point here, or in contradiction to that, I guess, genetically, man, like, we haven't changed at all in 50 years. Like, you know, we had generational talents back in the day. It's just a lot more strength training, or maybe not a lot more, but guys back in the day, they smoked, they drank, they didn't even think about how to increase their structure to put, you know, velocity into the ball. Nowadays, you have the strength training, which is a little piece, but guys overestimate how much you actually need to get the effects. You don't need as much as you think to essentially maximize what you need as far as velocity goes. Okay.
Everybody see the movie Fastball here, a documentary? What was the verdict on that? Everybody remember? At the end, what did they really say? Well, who was the hardest thrower ever? Okay. Well, what else did they take away from that documentary? Anybody? Unlike sprinters, okay, a baseball pitcher since 1930s, the guy's always been able to really ramp it up. He's been able to do it, okay? And so it goes back to there's some guys in here, okay, who can make significant, and I mean significant, like 3 to 4 miles per hour on their average fastball in like 6 weeks. There's guys that can do it in this room that haven't even scratched the surface of it. There's some guys who can't, okay, because they're maxed out. Who here last year remembers Evan Pietroniro? Okay. What did you know about Evan Pietroniro? Okay. What else? Yeah, he's the most efficient pitcher in the league. Okay. But in 6 weeks, they wanted a strike thrower. The Pirates came in and said, I need a college guy that can throw strikes. Well, I guarantee you 5 weeks ago, they didn't want a right-hand pitcher from college senior throwing 85. But he was able to showcase 89 and hit 91. It's good enough. They got him out of here. Okay. What about different example? The guys who were last year, Mitch Aker, Andrew Potter. What did they do? How did they get out here? They had some serious juice, right? Well, what did they have to do? Yes. You guys need to look at yourselves. I had to build up a resume, right? If you have a period of inconsistency, you got to put together a resume of consistency. And then you can put out everything that's there, okay? All right, so what I want to get into is when you do your individual meetings, we're going to go through your score. We're going to go through how much potential velocity you have left. We're going to go through what your normal training routine is, how you think about you getting velocity, how you're trying to be consistent. And then we're going to basically say, this is how your program will be structured, okay? Now, in here in the mornings, okay, you're going to have workouts with your team sometimes, and you're going to have times in here. Will and I, we're going to be here pretty much Monday through Friday from like 8 in the morning to 11, okay? And then I'll probably be working with some guys in more of a bullpen setting at the fields prior to games. But we're not going to be doing any like mechanical-based stuff, improvement, efficiency stuff at the field, okay? So if you want to start improving assets of your delivery, they're pretty much going to happen here. We have slopes here, and most of it, for you guys who were a part of it last year, you don't even have to do much throwing to improve it, okay? And that's kind of how it's built. Now, let me find a guy who was here last year. How about Welch? Pop up for me real quick. All right, so the reason why I'm bringing Jake up is because he knows a lot about DVS, but also too, I think there's a kind of correlation between what we ask of you guys to improve mechanical efficiency and how it may look different, okay? So, Jake, what do you think you can kind of demo for us is like the typical DVS style? Okay, that's pretty good, right? Okay, awesome. That's it. All right, now take a break. All right. Now, I want to be very clear on one piece here, okay? Everybody does not have to look like that, okay? There are certain aspects in your mechanics that would go through with you where you can create efficiency, but you don't have to necessarily look like that, okay? We can all improve. Clayton Kershaw has a high DVS score. Justin Verlander has a high DVS score. They don't necessarily look like that, okay? But what he did is what relates to energy, okay? And building energy, okay? And that's the key. All of you here have basically, you got a car, you drove here, and if I'm driving my car 45 miles per hour, I slam on the brakes, I'm gonna go forward a little bit. If I can get my car up to 65, 70, I hit the brakes, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna go even faster, okay? So when I watch a lot of you start to initially move, I talked to Carl about this, there's a lot of guys I'm gonna have this conversation with. You can max out your arm and the strength of your arm. The only thing you haven't done is max out how fast you move down the mound. You haven't even scratched the surface of how you can do it. Some of you guys are moving down the mound fast and you're closer, okay? But I'm absolute positive that most of you, and this goes back to the culture. What do you guys know that's happening in the culture right now with starting pitchers? How are they changing their windups? Anybody know? Absolutely. Good or bad thing for baseball? What are starting pitchers doing? Yeah, they're all doing this now. That's the windup. Simplify. Yeah, they're simplifying. Simplify for what? Maybe consistent, right? Okay. What you're going to find is strike percentage and consistency has more to do with where your arm is and the health of your arm over a long duration. Okay. Anybody can go out there one outing, man, here we go. But over the course of a long season, my arm position and how healthy my arm is relates more to how effective you can be day in, day out. When I do you guys strike percentage, I'm not going to say, man, it's one out and he was 65, another one's 45, so he's a 45% strike throw or he's 65. I got to get data on you guys, okay? But what I'm going to refer to and what Jake just did is if you have to get over a hump and you're 89, then yeah, you got to create energy way differently than your peers. Go back to Keese or go back to Corey Kimber. These guys have, you know, some pretty good lightning bolts in that arm, okay? Both of them are pretty inefficient lower body of how they're creating some movement. What does that mean for them? They got more, okay? Probably good news for them. But really for both of those guys, they have it, so the standard of efficiency and consistency is paramount in developing more of an off-speed pitch, okay? So I can go in here and I can give you guys examples of deliveries and different styles, but I do want it be tailored to every single one of you. I don't want all you guys to look the same. Here's a great example. Donnie, what happened with you last year in your windup? What essentially kind of got you over a hump?
I paused at the top of my right left, and then go all at once, and then kind of changed it from DVS and more momentum.
Okay. So Donnie's a guy we spent, what, 2 bullpen sessions? Mainly 1 in the bullpen. All I said is, Donnie, I just want you to get some rhythm up into your knee lift, and in that way you can get more consistent. Because he was trying to tinker with a lot of stuff, but it just wasn't very good out of his windup, okay? Well, he developed his own little, you guys seen Donnie pitch, his own little thing of how he does it. But he syncs it up, he creates good energy, his timing is always there, his pitchability went and improved a lot more, okay? So when I meet with you, I want you to walk into the meeting and say, this is who I ideally want to be, okay? If you're on 87 and you want to be Syndergaard, then you should probably walk back out of the meeting, okay? But I'm going to legitimately tell you, based off our reports, what you can do and how you probably need to get there.